one, ignition.
What you know about this life? Yeah. Just relax, baby, get high. Yeah, you're on your way to the best night ever. No top on it, no top, no top. Out with the stars.
What up, Best Night Ever League? Got a little update. We had a big trade go down. I sent away, and I illustrated it nicely for everyone. I sent away Kyler. I got in return Mark Andrews, Brees, and Kirk. I'm thrilled about this. Finally, I got me a trade that had players, keeper-worthy players in it, and that was really what dragged the process down, or dragged it out for so long, trying to trade Kyler, because the people that wanted them weren't willing to give up their best players, and I think I am not crazy for being like, hey, I'm gonna trade one of my best players to you. I want one of your best players in return, god damn it, or two of your best players in return, god damn it. And not that Brees is currently one of Finn's best players, but he is a stud, and I think he will be very good for many years to come. And don't even have to describe Mark Andrews. Everyone knows how shitty tight ends are this year. Holy shit. So I'm thrilled about getting Mark Andrews as well. And this is one of those trades where I don't think I won the trade unless Brees is like a Christian McCaffrey like next year. And I don't think Finn won the trade either. I mean, he gave up two very good players, but he got in return someone he's going to have for 5 years. And that is worth a lot, especially at the quarterback position, which I am pretty confident in saying it's probably the most important position. It's very difficult to win if you don't have like a 40-point floor out of your two quarterbacks. So Finn made the move. It's a big one, and that's really what I was just trying to get out of Kyler. And I know I'm very indecisive when it comes to trading, so people are probably fucking sick of trying to trade with me. But I'm just like, fuck, dude, I need good players, and people just weren't willing to give them up. And I think that we as a whole league need to stop being so married to our best players. Because it makes things more interesting when people are willing to trade. And I think that our new rule about the trading away your expiring contracts, I think that rule is going to force a lot of people to trade. So it's going to be a fun little trade deadline. But yeah, people are just a little too married to their best players. And I can't say I wasn't with Kyler. I was married to him for a while. But accepting how shitty my team is this year, it unleashed me. I am free. I was freed because the only reason I was keeping Kyler was me thinking every year I had a chance of winning something. But I've swallowed the pill that is I will not be winning and I will be losing this year. So that is why I was actually willing to trade him. And I knew if I didn't take if I was getting offers I was unsure about, and I ended up taking an offer I was unsure about, then I was just gonna feel like a dumbass. But Finn really sent me a trade I couldn't refuse, so that was what did it. And only time will tell if I see some returns on this trade. If Brees comes back half as decent as he was, if Kyler doesn't get a new fucking coach because Cliff Kingsbury's a dumbass. Because if that happens, Kyler can be insane. He should be insane, and he just hasn't been as insane as I was hoping he was gonna be. So I was fucking ready to dump him. And I know right now he's probably more busy grinding gold camos in the new Call of Duty than he is actually trying to win football games. So felt like a good time to get rid of him. But yeah, that's what went down, folks. Big trade. So Kyler's gone. He's off the fucking menu. I think Finn's gonna keep him forever. He really wanted him. So yeah, congrats to Finn. You got your guy. What up, Best Night Ever League? It is me, the extra chromosome, coming at you. All right, it's week 8, baby. We got a lot to get into. We had some very high stress scenarios in some of these fantasy games. Especially for Andrew, Amari Cooper almost quite literally threw his victory away with that interception pass, but thankfully he squeezed out the win for Andrew. But just otherwise around the league, we had some hot matchups. So starting off, first things first, we got Top G beating Bobby. This was a big win for Michael, right when he needed it most. He was on the brink of 3-5, on the brink of well below 500. Now he is back at 500. big win for him. Bobby got nothing to worry about. His team looks fine. But just going down the line, Dak had a good week. Josh Allen with his worst week all year against Michael. What are the odds, right? But Josh Jacobs also with his... No, this isn't his worst week all year. Yes, it is his worst week all year, just by a hair. But first time in about 3 weeks he hasn't gotten 30-plus points. Aaron Jones with a solid week. I mean, damn, they were feeding his ass. That is nice to see. I wish they did that back when I had him. Devontae Adams, wishing he was still in Green Bay. Oh, my God. Terrible. Almost a goose egg. Derek Carr is hot dog shit. A little concerning because Devontae was finally looking like he was heating up recently, but... Man, they suck. Holy shit. Luckily, they kind of have a nice... Ooh, actually, no. Those playoffs for the Raiders, that is not a very friendly schedule. I see New England, I see San Francisco, and Pittsburgh. But, rough week for Devontae. 20 for Devontae Diggs. No, Devontae Diggs. Stephon Diggs. And then A.J. Brown just fucking exploding. That guy is crazy, almost dropping 40. 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Devontae Smith ain't getting no action on that offense, and I know it full well. That dude is a fucking stud, A.J. Brown. But for Michael, Tua destroying the Lions with 32 points. Russell Wilson, he squeezed out about an average game against Jacksonville. Saquon had a bit of a rough game there in Seattle, only 13. Dalvin Cooks in Arizona, or against Arizona, for 25.5. Cooper Kupp, my boy, he had a nice solid game for 19 points just about, getting his standard absurd amount of targets, and just consistent as all hell, even though he does have a bit of an ankle injury, since McVay is a complete dumbass and had him playing well in the garbage time when the guy should have been already in the fucking locker room taking a shower. He has this guy out there because he just has to play 100% or like 98% of all snaps for whatever goddamn reason. McVay's a fuckhead, but he got injured. It's supposed to not be a big deal. That's what they're telling us, but only time will tell. I've heard that before. Amon St. Brown, you know, a solid game. He's pretty good. Jameson Williams, whenever he shows up, I think I don't know if he's just going to not make him good. I doubt that's the case. Amon is special, but definitely something to look at in terms of his usage. And then DJ Moore, just holy shit. Classic, of course, dude. He just had to pop off this week for Michael. 27.5 with that last second touchdown catch, just giving him like an extra 13 points. That was just crazy. That last play there in that Carolina game, if anyone caught that. But solid week for Michael. Needed that win. Jumping into the next one, we have, who I just talked about, Andrew, squeezing out a fat 175 points right on Connor's chest. Got the big win, beat him by 20 points, and we were a little bit worried about this one, but it looks like the game just ended. Yep. Amari coming in clutch with 21 points, even though he threw that pick first thing. That was just too funny. I could not believe that. But going down the line for Andrew's team, finally Stafford has a solid week. Jimmy G has been fantasy viable all of a sudden, and I guess he's worth the money because Andrew's willing to throw any amount of money if he's ever on the waiver wire on Jimmy G, but this time it panned out. McCaffrey looking good as a Niner. Holy shit, he is their entire offense and probably will continue to be. Maybe Debo comes back and actually takes some of his usage, but holy shit, McCaffrey's nuts. He even throws the ball. He might just be the quarterback because Jimmy G isn't that great anyways. But going on to Matt Evans, had a solid game, 18.3. DeAndre Hopkins is fucking insane. I mean, Kyler doesn't have anyone else to throw the ball to, so DeAndre Hopkins is just going to feast until Marquise Brown comes back. And then even then, I don't think it's going to matter. Hopkins is still that guy at 30 years old. He's fucking nuts. He's going to be a fantasy beast for Andrew for the rest of the season. George Kittle actually had a solid game too with 11.5. Amari Cooper, talked about him. But yeah, great week for Andrew. Big week, and he is going at 5-3, dude. What is going on? Andrew is a beast this year. And this was without Eckler. Also, I gotta talk about fucking Eckler. Excellent is the perfect nickname. Look at these targets. 16 targets, and then 12 targets the week after that for Eckler. Herbert, doesn't even throw the ball to anyone else. His half his fucking rib cage is shattered. He's just throwing it to Eckler, man. It's crazy. And Eckler has just been a monster this year. And Andrew just had him on bye. It didn't even fucking matter. So now he's gonna have Eckler and McCaffrey. I mean, jeez, dude, Andrew is looking solid. The only thing I'm worried about is his quarterbacks. But someone whose quarterbacks I'm not worried about, Connors. Those were a couple of good weeks from his quarterbacks. Again, Lamar had a bounce back week. He was looking a little rough these past 3 weeks, but he looked great against Tampa Bay. No, he did run quite a lot. Jalen Hurts didn't run at all, but he didn't need to. Holy shit, when you have A.J. Brown, why the hell would you ever run the ball? He was just under 300 yards, but still had almost 30 points. Kenneth Walker squeezed out a touchdown right at the end of that game to save his week 11. Derrick Henry dominates the Texans. They just give him the ball 30 times, and it's a win, and it's craziness. Derrick Henry is still a god. Godwin, not much of a god, but CeeDee Lamb, solid week, 16.5, you know. Dolchich, is that his name, this guy in Denver? It was a solid game. And then JT has been, if Najee wasn't such a bust, I would say JT has been the biggest disappointment this year, but he's not been half as terrible as Najee has been, and he's been injured on top of that. But he did have a really good first week, so you could say that at least. He had one big week. That's something you cannot say about Najee. And the potential is still there. Just the Colts are absolutely miserable on the offensive side of the ball. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Jonathan Taylor. I don't think we're going to see anything close to what he was last year. Now he's got an ankle injury on top of that. He had turf toe on top of that. But it's a typical running back thing where you don't know half the fucking injuries they have because it just like, oh, we don't know. He looks good and then he plays and then it's like, oh, no, he did have an injury actually. And who the fuck knows? But JT is not his old self. And the Colts, their offense is miserable. So that's a little rough for Connor. But the poor guy, oh man, he's got DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams on his bench. How the fuck is he ever going to make it out of this? He still had Travis Kelce too. So Connor's got nothing to worry about. He's just had a bad run of luck. He's been playing a lot of high scores these past few weeks. But Connor falls to, what is he at? Hey, where did I go? Connor's going to be at 4-4. Tied with Michael, tied with Cam. But then jumping into Jacobs and Nick Finley's matchup, Jacobs' team is just, I don't know, there's nothing bad about it. And in fantasy this year, when you have nothing bad about your team, you're more than likely going to be in the championship. And I'll say it, it's a hot take. I know everyone's blown away by the spectacle of Josh Allen and the Bills, but Jacobs' team is looking insane. I mean, he has nothing weak about his team. Justin Jefferson has been insane. He hasn't caught a touchdown pass since week 1, and he's still the 5th best wide receiver this year. Jalen Waddle is fucking nuts, and he is the 2nd wide receiver to Tyreek Hill. And now ETN's the league winner. ETN rushed 150 yards on 24 carries against probably the best rush defense in the league. I mean, Jacobs got it set, man. And he just got Dameon Pierce. Even though Pierce has been pretty average, lackluster these past couple weeks, he's solid. So he is set, especially with Watson coming back. But anyways, back into their matchup. Jacob defeats Finn. Jacob moves to 4-4. So we got a lot of 4-4s. It is a tight middle, and the only person on top is Bobby, and the only person on the bottom end of it is Finn and I. And so Jacob's team, Brady with 20, Nick Chubb's another 28 points. I mean, this guy is fucking insane, Nick Chubb. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Their whole offensive line is just, he has a fucking steel curtain that he runs behind, and it's nuts. He had a great game this week. Justin Jefferson, just under 100 yards, but he's still ahead about 13 points. Jalen Waddle is insane. He's not playing Detroit every week, but, man, they just air it out to him like crazy. ETN talked about him. But then going on the Finns team, and man, does Derek Carr suck, dude. He is trash, and I mean trash. And it's not like Finn's got any other options. Justin Fields actually isn't our option. I should take that back. Justin Fields is looking great these past couple weeks. Past about 4 weeks. I mean, shit, 15, 16. He's building on these performances, and he's got a pretty easy-going schedule. So Fields could be a viable starter. Time will tell, but that's a solid pickup for Finn because Derek Carr, he is not it. Then you have early morning Kirk Cousins. He always stomps early morning. He gets 22.5. Dante Foreman, just ridiculous. 35 point. If I could have known, if I would have picked that guy up, every running back I pick up dog shit. But Deontay Foreman, man, 35 points, insane. David Montgomery, he's trash. 5 points from him. Tyreek, what can I say? He's a god. No touchdowns. Doesn't even need a touchdown to get almost 30 points. Drake London had a rough outing. And now Mark Andrews is injured with a shoulder injury and an ankle injury. So things ain't looking good for Finn, especially since Breece recently got injured. And that's just almost impossible to come back from because Breece was looking like insane. He was looking like a top 5 running back for the rest of the season, and now he's gone. So now that Mark Andrews is also looking a little injured, David Montgomery is looking like dog shit. Things are looking a little grim for Finn, but once Debo comes back, I think he'll be on the up and up a little bit. But if Justin Fields performs, if he's got those quarterbacks set, I think things could look up for Finn. But Chuba Hubbard's going to come back, I think. I don't think he played, so things looking a little rough for Finn. I still think his team is better off than mine, but yeah. So Finn falls to 2-6, and did I already talk about? Wait, I talk about what's its face? All right, we back. I had a little brain fart. But anyways, on to the last matchup, the one everyone's been talking about, the closest of the week. No, we got Cam in mind. Cam destroyed me. My team is never going to win a game for the rest of the season, so I wasn't even hopeful of a win. But man, did he destroy me with 2 players who have been pretty underwhelming this year. I mean, Pollard's a backup, so he's not really been that underwhelming. But Kamara, I didn't have a touchdown all year, and he decided to score 2 against me. Classic. He had almost 40 points, looking like old Kamara, getting almost 100 yards in the air. I mean, crazy. It's like, oh, they remembered Alvin Kamara is still actually an amazing football player. But then Daniel Jones against the Seahawks, a little underwhelming. Joe Burrow just looked miserable. I don't know if it's just because Jamar Chase is out or if it's just their offensive line is that bad, and Myles Garrett was having his way with his sweet booty, but Joe Burrow just had a rough one, 11.5, but it doesn't matter when you have like 75 points between these two. I mean, it's crazy. Pollard with 36.5 should be the starter. 3 touchdowns. Should be the starter in Dallas. Won't be because Jerry Jones is a senile cunt. And he's never going to admit that him signing Zeke was the dumbest thing he could have ever done. And now he's just never going to start him. And Pollard and Zeke is indestructible. He played with a torn tendon in his knee all last year. So he's never just going to miss a season. Pollard is never just going to be the guy, unfortunately. Zeke is like a cancer to that team. So very sad for Cam because Pollard is insane and could probably be top 10 if Zeke did not play the rest of the season. And then Courtland Sutton, man, I would, oh God, dude, this guy, he is just miserable in fantasy. I mean, he has had more targets these past 4 weeks than he has gotten fantasy points. He is a miserable fantasy option. Anyone on the Broncos, just miserable. Rough one for Sutton. Couldn't even get 2 points. Ayuk, very solid pickup. I wish I picked him up. I'm an idiot. I still think I need to start Najee because of how much I invested into him. But no, he's a loss, so I'm cutting the losses. No more. Ayuk with 17 off the waivers. Huge pickup by Cam, but not like it mattered. And then Kyle Pitts, of course. Oh, the guy, he hasn't done anything all year. Oh, he has his best game against me. Classic. He squeezed out 16.5. Pitts showing some signs of life that he might actually be fantasy relevant one day. And then Mixon 9.5. But yeah, just a crazy week from Cam. I mean, these quarterbacks combined didn't even get 20, but like literally nothing matters. And then he gets 2 from Sutton. Nothing matters when you have Ayuk getting 17, tight ends almost 17, and then almost 75 between your 2 running backs. Crazy. And then on to my team. Geno got a nice 19 points. Kyler with 25, he's not dropping off. I guess he hasn't gotten his double XP code on his Mountain Dew can for the new Call of Duty. But he looked pretty good. And, I mean, it's hard to suck in fantasy when you have DeAndre Hopkins. And that's what I was hoping for. I knew once DeAndre comes back, things are going to look better for him, and he has been solid. They still lost, but goddamn, he's thrown the ball 44 times, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, a couple sloppy picks, but nice little game there from Kyler, and now we have Najee with his standard 8 carries for 30 yards. He had some catches at least, so that was a little sign of life, but couldn't get into that double digits. I mean, just what an absolute bust. This reminds me of when I drafted Le'Veon first overall, and he just didn't play the entire season. I kind of wish Najee just did that, honestly, because then I could actually, like, maybe sell him and maybe convince people that, hey, he's just like, he just tore his ACL or something. Maybe he'll play next year and he'll be back and looking solid. But no, everyone knows now he's dog shit. Nobody wants him. He's probably going to be in the draft next year, so plan for that if you really want him. I am not going to keep him if my life depends on it. And then Gus Edwards, yeah, he was looking nice before he got injured. He had 6.5 points. T. Higgins, I mean, I gotta blame Burrow for his shit, but man, is Burrow just not gonna look at Higgins or what? I guess he really doesn't like Higgins that much. I thought Chase would be out, maybe Higgins would see a little action. Nah, man. He got a nice touchdown there at the end to save his fantasy week, but it was still for only 12.5 points. Devontae Smith, he is living in the shadow. He is a tiny little ant in AJ Brown's shadow, and I don't know if he's ever gonna be fantasy relevant because of AJ Brown. And then Zach Ertz had a solid week, 11.5. Benjamin with 6.5 points. And yeah, that's about all there is to my team. I had Jacoby Myers on the bench. He had about 16. Kenyon, he feasted once Gus Edwards went down. So I'm back to the point of where I have to choose between Gus Edwards or Kenyon Drake or Jacoby Myers. Oof, tough choices for me. But Cam advances to 4-4. I am now on a 6-game losing streak at 2-6. But still a crazy fantasy year. Some exciting fucking games this week, man. This was so exciting compared to the rest of the season. I hope the rest of the season looks like this week because I don't care about losing in fantasy. I just want to watch some good basketball, some good fucking football. And these past 5 weeks ain't been it. But this week was a high-scoring affair, and it was glorious to see everyone popping off. So looking forward to next week. I play Michael next week. If I were Michael, I'd have nothing to worry about. He should handily beat my team. But this is fantasy. Anything can happen. Maybe James Conner comes back and drops 30. But he's got Tua looking like a legend now. He plays Chicago, so even though he popped off big against Detroit for 32, he should still be very good for the rest of the season, I would imagine. Aaron Rodgers playing Detroit, so he could always have 30 points against Detroit. He's struggled all year, but if there's ever a time to bounce back, it is against the worst defense in the league. But he has quite a debacle, quite a predicament here at running back. His carry, Saquon, is on bye this week. Russell is on bye. Not that that's a bad thing. I imagine he would have benched him anyway since Rodgers is playing Detroit. But he's starting 2 running backs off the same team. One who's definitely a backup, even though Madison does see some usage, more usage than he used to as Dalvin's backup. But Kupp is playing, Amon St. Brown's playing, maybe Keenan Allen plays. If he doesn't play, oh no, he's going to have to start DK Metcalf, brutal, or DJ Moore. So, Michael's looking fine. My team is looking the same as it has been, which is miserable. So one won't be a close one there. I project I have about 90 points. Michael probably drops about 140. Next match up will be Connor and Finn. And now this one, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's looking grim for Finn. Depends if JT plays, but Connor's got Travis Kelce back. He's going to play Tyler Lockett. I think Connor will be perfectly fine. I project Connor winning this one handily. Probably 150 to 110 from Finn, 120-ish. After that, we got Andrew playing Jacob. This should be a very interesting week. Austin Eckler against the Falcons, that's going to be very interesting. I imagine he's going to get 15 targets from Herbert. He's going to have 3 touchdowns. He's going to have at least 30 points this week. I fucking guarantee it. He will have all of his dudes on fucking bye. Oh my god, I did not realize how many guys he has on bye. So that's going to be rough for Andrew. He's not going to have Amari. He's not going to have McCaffrey or Jimmy G. So he's going to have to start Poverty Trevor Lawrence and Matt Stafford. But Devin Singletary, not the worst backup running back. I've certainly seen worse on my roster. DeAndre Hopkins. Man, this is rough. But Jacob's got Chubb on bye. Man, this is rough. So, oh no, he's going to have to start Miles Sanders, who's been like an RB1 almost this year. Definitely an RB2. Or Brandon Cooks. But he's got Mahomes. So I'm going to have to give this one to Jacob. I think it's going to be just very close, a nut hair away from going to Andrew. I could see this one coming in at like 145 Jacob to 142 Andrew. It's going to be that close. But knowing Andrew, it's just going to be some fuckery right at the end. And then we have Cam playing Bobby, which interesting because Bobby, he's not going to have Dak, but he's got a great backup in Mariota. Who else does he have on bye? Yeah, he doesn't really have anyone else on bye, so it should be business as usual for Bobby. But Cam is going to have to play. He's got Kadarius Toney in. Oh, God, he's going to have to start Kadarius Toney, isn't he? Well, see how that goes. But I don't know. He's got Ayuk on bye too. What the fuck is Cam gonna do? He's gonna have to start. Oh Christ, he's gonna have to start Brian Robinson or AJ Dillon, or no, Cordell Patterson's still injured. Man, yeah, it's gonna be bad. I think Cam's gonna get destroyed, especially now that Joe Burrow is looking like shit again. Now that Chase is out, that might have just been a fluke. They are playing Carolina, so it could be a nice bounce back chance for him. But yeah. I don't know. So, probably got Bobby winning this one, 150 to about 125, Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. It's been a thrilling year. I think I'll see you guys for the last recap of the year, right? Or no, someone else is going to do the last one. I'll have the second last one. But, yeah, anyways, guys, been a thrilling year so far. It's very exciting things developing. I'm loving it. Anyways, I'll catch you later. Sorry for the 22-minute recap.